Paul says here, we once regarded people according to the flesh. We once looked at the world superficially and sinfully. It's the most natural thing in the world, and we all do it still. We regard people according to what we see with our eyes, and so we make snap judgments about people according to their appearance, their ethnicity, skin color, social class, physical attractiveness, their personality, their gender, their gifts, skills. Who here loves to meet smart, attractive, gifted, influential, funny, or wealthy people? Thank you. We had one honest person over here. Of course we do. We love meeting those people. We tend to ignore poor, poorly dressed, smelly, unattractive, obnoxious people. And we don't even think about it. It seems perfectly normal and right. We judge people according to external issues and our own personal prejudices, and it's sin. It's sin. That's how sinful people see. And that's why the religious leaders couldn't see Jesus, because he was from Nazareth. Nothing good comes from Nazareth. It's a known fact. Jesus was poor. Jesus was physically unattractive. Jesus was friends with the wrong people. Jesus didn't meet their standard of religious purity. And Paul says, I used to think just like that. Though he probably never met Jesus personally in his life, he knew of him. And like the other Pharisees, he saw Jesus the way they saw Jesus. A false teacher, breaker of Sabbath, a blasphemer, someone who had the audacity to say God was his Father, the thrice holy God, his own Father, as he's eating with prostitutes and befriending sinners. But he got what he deserved. He died for his crimes. He died the death of the damned as he deserved, crucified on a Roman cross. And now all that's left in Paul's mind and Saul's mind was just to stomp out the followers, the disciples. And Paul is saying here, he's confessing, that's how I used to think. That's what I thought about Jesus. But then he met him on the road to Damascus, where there was a blinding light and a voice. Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Who are you, Lord? I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. And it changed everything. And Saul of Tarsus came to see that the Jesus whom he had been persecuting was in fact the very Son of God. He speaks of it in Colossians chapter 1. This Jesus, who he used to think was a poor, blaspheming, unclean, false teacher. Paul writes in Colossians 1, by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through him, and here's the amazing thing, and for him. He didn't just make it all. He didn't just make the kings. He made the kings for his own purposes, for his own intentions, for his own glory. Because, you see, he is before all things, and in him everything holds together. And this Jesus is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in everything, he, Jesus, might be preeminent. Because, you see, from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be glory forever. That's what he thinks of Jesus now. Completely changes perspective. And seeing, you see, the truth about Jesus changed the way Paul looked at people. He no longer looked at people according to the categories of this world. He didn't see Jews and Gentiles, male, female, barbarian, Scythian, slave, or free. Of course, people remained all those things. But Paul saw people. Just people. People made in the image of God, every one of them. People ruined in Adam's fall, every one of them. People desperately in need of what only Jesus Christ could give them, redemption. That's what he saw. Is that what you see when you go about in the world? Do you see people who matter because they're made in the image of God, and people who are bound in sin and desperately in need of a Savior.